Today, I'm going to unbox and take a look at the Battle of Khalkhin Goal, July to August 1939. This is from Princeps Games, and if you recall, I covered the promo version of this, or a sneak peek Kickstarter, look at this game while it was being, actually before it was kickstarted and while it was being kickstarted. So the publishers were kind enough to send me a copy of this. So happy to get this open and see what it looks like now that it's been published and out to the masses. Let's take a look at the back of the box here. As you can see, we have a large map, and again, I'll put a link to, did a couple of videos on it, did a unboxing kind of overview of the components in the state that they were, which they were pretty close to finished, but not entirely, and also an after-action report of some playthrough and some gameplay discussion. I'll put links to both of those in the description so you can compare with what it looked like then and what it looks like now. Hex and counter war game covering the World War II battle, a border clash between Japan and the USSR at the very dawn of this global conflict. And if you recall, I think I even covered a movie. So check when I did my unboxing, or maybe it was the after action report, but I'll leave that for you to take a look at. You're going to see some of the counters there. There's some kind of setup maps. There's some tables or charts or displays. Again, Princeps Games is excellent on their components, really thick, counters, thick player aids or setup charts or cards. Very nice, and they have this very unique storage mechanism, which is very much like what you might see with a insert for like the hobby game industry. It does a lot of inserts now, and these come part of the game with these nice little storage containers that are very high quality and have art on them as well. It says it's 1 or 2 players. I can't recall if there was a solitaire rules. The rules that I got in my promo version, or the sneak peek version, I had to print out the rules because I didn't get rules with it, and I think the rules were still being changed even as I was playing it. So anyway, that's enough of that. Looking at the back of the box, we want to see what's in the box and what it really looks like for all of us. Now, this is a very interesting battle. Very early on, 1939, between Japan and Russia. Is not covered a lot in war games. I think one of the first times I saw it's covered. I have like a magazine game on it that I think I covered. I might put a link to that as well. I remember seeing it covered in Axis and Allies, I believe, as like an expansion. They covered it, but it's not something that you see a lot of box versions of. And this is a big box. Look at that art on the cover there. So there we go. There's the box. Good, thick, quality box there. And here are the rules. I finally have a printed rule set. Excited about that. There's Princeps Games. I want to thank them again. And here are some of the setup maps, and then you also have some of these pads here for these setup maps as well, but you have some inside the book if you wanted to copy those. So the rules look like they chart out at 35 pages, but this is with some bot sequences. Also, they do have some solo rules in here. Awesome, very awesome. So that solo mode is at 33 pages, so about 3 or 4 pages of solo rules, and the rules kind of stop here at 32 with your action sequence. So initial operations, round 1, and then rounds 2 through 8 there. So let's look at the rules proper. Start from the beginning. You know me, I always just start at the end. So here's the full contents here. List of abbreviations. Quite a bit of those. And then here's some tutorials. Air Battle System Tutorial playthrough from Zilla Blitz and full playthrough from Zilla Blitz. Well, I did not get credits, but you know what? I got the game. That's okay. Zilla does a much better job. Anyway, I'll give a shout out there. So you got a QR code to get to that. Here's how to win the game. Very nice. I mean, this is neat looking at this because, again, I printed out everything, so I didn't get to see all these nice colored charts and, the train cost, train tack modifiers, unit characteristics, and the like. So it's nice seeing this. Now, it's got an interesting air system in here. That's something that Princeps does somewhat unique, is how they do the air system, but their combat system amongst their games, or at least between was it Frozen? Golly, I got it right behind me. What is that called? Freezing Inferno. Freezing Inferno and Quackland Go, I think they have somewhat similar combat mechanisms. I think the air mechanisms are different, though, if I recall. And the air mechanisms are a little bit... There's some math. There's like a slide rule in this, so it's not that complicated, but it's different. It's definitely different than what I've seen before. Actually, I think they were changing some of those rules when I was in the midst of playing it, so I can't remember what version I did. So there are the rules. Very nice to see that. Here are these setup pads. Very nice as well. Very cool. Here are the counters. The counters are bagged. We'll pull those out here in a second. Ooh, the maps. And the maps are at least the pre-version or pre-release version, or the prototype was two-sided. I'd like to see what they ended up with on this too. They're do very interesting things when they with their maps. Between having somewhat of a more war game-ish functional side and having something that's a little bit more artistic and pulls out some of the features in a little bit different manner. So here are these storage boxes I was telling you about. There's the dice right there. Very nice storage boxes. These will have some of your big cards in here. I think these are what do they call these? The different turn cards, because there's different things that happen or different events that happen as you go through the game. Very tightly packed on the cards here. I'm going to have to get a knife out or something for that. Well, I'll leave this alone. I'll get those out in a second. Ooh, money counters. Now, this is something they did not have in the prototype version. I think I used these from one of their other games. It was either from Freezing Inferno or from they're very nice and thick, as you can see there. Very nice thick counters. No paper money here, or maybe it was March Andrina. I can't remember which one I used it from. Here's some more cards here. We'll take a look at those, and then we got the big box here, which is going to have their big player boards or charts. Look at that. Look how thick those are. So this is like a turn track for the Japanese. Very nice. Here's for the Russians, or sorry, the Soviet Union. Here's your action sequence. There's your list of abbreviation trains. All this is very nice. Nicely done. Very thick, very sturdy. Got art on the back, especially for the ones that will be on the board while you're playing. They have art on the back. And then here's this air system. As you can see here, a lot of stuff going on there. More air. This is that is for the Soviet Union. This is for the Japanese. And then you've got here's the Japan bot sequence. So you've got some of the solo rules there. So very nice. Let's get some of these. Let's get to the maps. Get to that next. Then we'll do the counters. Then I'll try to figure out if I can open up those cards somehow, some way. So these are all in bubble wrap here. Just crack these open. I don't think there's a little sticky tab on these. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. And I don't think I'm going to get enough room to get this on here, but you can get a chance to see the terrain there. And there's a chart around the side. Oh yeah, so here, so you've got one side, very thick, nicely mounted, as you can see there. So you got one side that's a little bit less artistic. It's more just your standard. Let's go up Periscope a little bit here. It's more of your standard monotone colors that you're used to seeing on some war game maps, between your green, your brown, and your tan. And you got your road network there. But then on the other side, you're going to see a little bit more art or graphics, or a little bit distinction in the graphics, a little bit more. The Frozen Inferno was actually, some people kind of were saying it was almost fantasy based. It was a little bit more interpretive, I guess. Let's see, get this on here. And I am out of room on my table. But there we go. Here's the Khalkhin River. It goes up the middle. And you're going to have the sides basically setting up either side and then moving to one side. And you're wanting to get these areas here that have these flags and these points. Well, they have them on both sides, but a lot of the attacking is in this direction predominantly, at least in the games that I played. So let's take a look at the other side of the map. Let's see how this is going to flip over. Is it flip over, flip over? No, it doesn't. It flips over like this. Okay, cool. So it flips over exactly to one side. So there, you can play it halvesies if you want to play it that way, because it fits up perfectly even with the track, as you saw there. But this one's got a little bit more art. I like playing this side a little bit better, because you get a little bit more of the rugged terrain, the mountains, and the marsh and the river and the like there. I kind of like that side just a little bit better than the monocolor side. But, you know, your mileage may vary. Let's get into the counters now, which, again, are going to be thick. And the combat system, if you look back at my playthrough video, actually the unboxing, but mainly the playthrough video, I think I go into a little bit, definitely a lot more detail of gameplay in that. You kind of stack the counters, and and that's how you kind of keep track of your losses, is by removing stuff from the stack. Good thick counters there. You can see the Soviets and then the Japanese. Large movement point numbers. That was something I talked a little bit about in my playthrough video. It's like 20 movement points. That's a mounted unit there. You got your tanks. So double-sided counters. Very nice. You have, you know, tanks, artillery, infantry, mounted units on both sides. Very nice. And then we have some of our headquarters, which are important in kind of the command and control structure. Then you have some of these bridges. These were not in my prototype version, so this is kind of cool seeing some of these counters there. And there you have it. Very nice indeed. So let's get to these cards. So here we have the cards. These are really tightly wrapped, which is nice if you're wanting to protect them, but not so great if you're trying to get them open. So the cards are not super thick, but I mean, they're fine. I mean, you're not going to be, you know, shuffling these a lot. These are like different events. There's different choices for the event, so you'll set up the deck and see which events you're going to play. So that adds some to replayability. So as I said, it goes over 8 turns, and you're going to have different events depending upon which one of these cards you pull out there, and that'll change the gameplay. So that's one of the things that it's got a little bit of a narrative or scriptive type setup for the events, but all very, very interesting, but and adds to replayability. As I said, if you look at this, I mean, this is not your typical looking war game. Princeps has a very distinct and unique look to their games, to their game boards, to their art, to their counters, and their cards. It's different, and you know, so might be, some people might love it, some people might hate it. I like it. I like that it's a unique and different kind of feel and different perspective, especially on this battle. These are just cards from 0 to 8. I can't remember if these are deal with the combat game or deal with the air game. It's been a while since I played this game. That was several months ago that we got into that. Oh my goodness, they're all over the place now. Again, look back at my playthrough. I will look back at my playthrough probably before I play the game. You have leaders. And so these are the Soviet leaders. And then you have the Japanese leaders, and then they have different abilities. And again, adds a little bit of kind of a historical feel and narrative to the game as well. Kind of like that. And then you've got, this is for the bombing, I believe, or the attack cards. This is the airstrike cards for the Soviets and for the Japanese. You got a defense card, attack cards, all kinds of different things there. So you have those cards there. So there you have it. That is all the stuff, which is, quite a bit of stuff in this box here. I mean, I can't tell you how the quality of this, the thickness of this is just really cool. It's kind of your weather track, weather turn effects. There's combat results table, your action sequence, and your key terrain and abbreviations and attack modifiers there. Again, this is for your espionage and deception. So, I mean, this game is not just combat. There's not just land combat. There's also air. There's politics or deception, I should say, in there, or espionage that goes in there. Then, of course, the rules, which that's very nice to see that. And, this is part of the game. This box is really something extra. I mean, I'm not sure what the price of this is going at retail, but the storage alone is really quite nice. Quite nice indeed. So there you have it. That is all the stuff that you get in a box of the Battle of Khalkhin Gol, July to August 1939 from Princeps Games. I cannot wait to, well, I've got it on my table, but I can't wait to actually punch out the counters and then set this up and go at it again, especially now that I got a more detailed, or at least final rule book, and then also the bot. I like to see how that works as well, since I play a lot of my games solo. So thanks again, Princeps Games, and check this one out, and check out that game company. They're doing things differently. There's good quality there, and you might just find something that you like. Take care. Thanks for watching.